With Tom Aspinall facing Ciryl Gane, a lot of people seem to think he's just going to run through him in the first round, and understandably so. The guy has an average fight time of 2 seconds, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But I honestly feel like Gane is being overlooked in this fight, and judging from his performance against Alexander Volkov, I'm pretty sure he's realized he has a big hole in his game, and he's working on that. That being his wrestling, because if you're getting taken down by Alexander Volkov, I really don't know what to tell you. Sure, Volkov had some grappling in his arsenal, judging from his performance against Tai Tuivasa, but guys, it's Tai. I don't think Tai's grappling is that good, and I also feel like Volkov really needs to because he's a good kickboxer and he has a long reach. Watch his fight against Sergey Pavlovich. Sergey is a very dangerous striker, but he had no answers for Volkov. And even John Jones said that Ciryl Gane is one of the most incomplete fighters in the division. And at first, I completely disagreed with him because how do you find yourself in the top 5 whilst being one of the most incomplete fighters in the division? I assumed he was just trying to get in Cyril's head like he does against most of his opponents. But the more I watched Cyril fight, I couldn't agree with this more. Could this be a hole that Tom Aspinall exploits? Perhaps. And that's the scary part because if Tom Aspinall isn't able to have his way with Ciryl on the feet, he can still rugby tackle him and potentially submit him in the first round. Tom Aspinall is a BJJ black belt. He just hasn't been given enough opportunities to show that because he's so good on the feet that he knocks out his opponents in the first round. Yes, the heavyweight is not the most skilled division, but at the same time, you can't deny that Tom Aspinall looks exceptionally good. And as far as his grappling goes, I really don't think we've seen enough to make claims like he would submit John Jones or he would defend the wrestling of John because his best grappling performances were against Alexander Volkov and Andrei Arlovski. He doesn't have any other submission in the UFC. But if I had to pick who would most probably win the grappling exchanges, it would have to be Tom Aspinall. As far as striking goes, I really don't know who's more dangerous. Yes, Tom Aspinall has more knockout power, but I really don't think he's as technical as he would need to be for us to have 100% certainty that he would knock out Ciryl Gane in the first round. If you remember Cyril's performance against Derek Lewis, but Ciryl Gane is not the flabby blobber McBlobberson that Tom Aspinall's used to fighting. He has very dynamic footwork, he darts in and darts out, which can help him evade Tom Aspinall's power shots, and before he darts out, he can land a very stiff jab. If you watch this fight against Derek Lewis, you'll know what I'm talking about. Aside from that, he's shown that in all of his other performances. His only losses were against John Jones, Francis Ngannou, and let's be honest, Alexander Volkov. As far as the John Jones fight goes, I don't think Tom Aspinall presents the same tools that John has. John has better wrestling in my opinion. Tom may be stronger, but I just don't think he would have out-wrestled Ciryl Gane as well as John Jones did. Francis Ngannou wasn't always a very good grappler, judging from his first fight against Stipe Miocic, but ever since that one, he had been working on his grappling, and the second time he fought Stipe, yes, Stipe was a lot older, but once he started stuffing the takedowns, Stipe knew he was cooked, and man, that was a brutal KO. And when Francis Ngannou faced Ciryl Gane, I remember there was that sequence where Ciryl attempts a teep to the head, Francis catches it and just completely little bros him. On paper, Tom might actually be a better wrestler than Francis Ngannou, but I just don't think he's physically as strong, and perhaps that's why Francis had as much success as he did when he faced Ciryl Gane. And when Ciryl Gane faced Alexander Volkov, he was the betting favorite going into the fight, obviously because he won the first one, but his striking didn't look that exceptional. Am I the only one who felt like he wasn't as bouncy as we expected him to be? I don't know, it's because Volkov was overwhelming him, perhaps that's the reason. But the striking exchanges just felt like they were a lot closer than they needed to be. Could it be a work ethic thing? Is Ciryl Gane not putting in as much effort as he was before? Has he let his acting career overtake his MMA career? I don't know. But if that's the case, Tom Aspinall is going to obliterate him. And my issue with Ciryl Gane winning this fight is he's going to have to be perfect for 5 rounds straight. Yes, Tom Aspinall may begin to fade past the third round, but we've never seen him there in the first place. What if he's actually an exceptional point fighter? We don't know. That's the tough thing about picking who's going to win this fight. But if I had to pick who's going to win, it would have to be Tom Aspinall because he has to be perfect in one exchange. Ciryl Gane has to be perfect for the whole fight. And with the way Ciryl Gane was getting tagged by Alexander Volkov, whom I think is a good striker, just not as dangerous as Tom Aspinall, it's pretty evident that Ciryl is probably going to get tagged a lot. And at some point, he's probably going to get knocked out. But if Ciryl Gane can fight Tom Aspinall the way he fought Derek Lewis, I think he has a much higher chance at beating him. Because if you remember the Derek Lewis fight, he didn't throw that much early on. He was trying to find his range, negate the power of Derek Lewis early, and then in the later rounds, he started to have his way with him. And the thing with Tom Aspinall is that yes, he hits very hard, but why? Because he has fast twitch fibers. I'm not going to get into that. We've heard it enough times, but that comes at an expense. If you remember Conor McGregor's fights, he fights very well in the early rounds, but once he starts reaching the third, fourth, and fifth, the power kind of goes away. His first fight against Nate Diaz is a perfect example of that. Now, no one's been able to take Tom Aspinall to the third round, but I feel like if there's anyone who's going to do it in the division, Ciryl Gane has to be out there. His style's elusive enough to take Tom Aspinall to the fifth round, theoretically at least. Anyway, you guys let me know who you think's going to win in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.